Hey guys, today we're diving into one of the most important and most confusing parts of Czech grammar, verb tenses, more specifically the present tense. First of all, some good news. There is only one present tense in Czech. So while English has its present simple, like I do homework every day, present continuous, I am doing homework right now, or even present perfect forms, like I have been doing this homework for 2 hours, Czech would use just one present tense. Já dělám domácí úkol každý den. Já teď dělám domácí úkol. Já dělám ten domácí úkol už 2 hodiny. Another piece of good news. Negative sentences and questions are both incredibly easy in Czech in all tenses. To make a negative, you just stick ne in front of the verb. Positive, já dělám domácí úkol, I'm doing homework, changes into negative, já nedělám domácí úkol, I'm not doing homework. Ty děláš domácí úkol, you are doing homework, changes into negative, ty neděláš domácí úkol, you are not doing homework. Making a question is even simpler. In Czech, you just change your intonation. Ty děláš domácí úkol. Ty děláš domácí úkol? Are you doing homework? So in the text, there is a question mark. In spoken word, that is, in this case, rising intonation. We'll talk about intonation in a different video. For now, it is enough to know that there are no special grammar structures for negative sentences and questions. Now, so far this all might sound pretty straightforward, but there are some rules that make it a bit more complicated. One of them, and this one again goes for all tenses, is the omission of the subject pronoun. In Czech, it is actually more common to omit the subject pronoun and say dělám domácí úkol or nedělám domácí úkol, děláš domácí úkol or neděláš domácí úkol. I'm sure that these variants you'll hear much more often than variants with the subject pronouns included. But now you might be asking, how do we know who we are talking about if we don't include the pronoun? Well, that actually brings us to the biggest challenge of using Czech verbs, and that is conjugation. Each person gets its own verb ending. Já dělám, ty děláš, on, ona, to dělá, my děláme, vy děláte, oni, ony, ona dělají. And since each verb ending is person-specific, we can actually delete the person and we still know who's being talked about. Dělám, děláš, dělá, děláme, děláte, dělají. That sounds a bit complicated, but that's not all. Not all verbs follow the same pattern. There are actually 4 groups of verbs, each following a different pattern. We identify which group a particular verb belongs to by the ending of its infinitive. Verbs in the first group end in their infinitives in at. And that's, for example, dělat, to do. For correct conjugation, we have to cut off the ending, and what we are left with is so-called stem. To that stem, we add the right ending depending on which person it is related to. So, as we said, já dělám, ty děláš, on, ona, to dělá, my děláme, vy děláte, oni, ony, ona dělají. Other verbs that belong to this group are, for example, hledat, to look for, snídat, to have breakfast, začínat, to start, poslouchat, to listen, and many others. Group number 2 are verbs whose infinitive end in ovat, like pracovat, to work. Again, we cut off the ending and add the new endings. Já pracuju, or more formal, pracuji. Ty pracuješ, on, ona, to pracuje, my pracujeme, vy pracujete, oni, ony, ona pracujou, or more formal variant, pracují. Other verbs that belong to this second group are, for example, studovat, to study, cestovat, to travel, opakovat, to repeat, or sportovat, to do sports. Third group verbs end in the infinitive in it, et. There can be a hook over e. If you're not sure how it works, watch the video where it is explained. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to see it later. Mluvit means to speak. Já mluvím, ty mluvíš, on, ona to mluví. My mluvíme, vy mluvíte, oni, oni, ona mluví. Other verbs in the third group are, for example, končit, to finish, vařit, to cook, uklízet, to clean, letět, to fly. Verbs in the fourth group are called irregular. They require a bit more memorizing, but don't worry, whatever they might be called, their endings are by no means random. They still follow a regular pattern. The reason they are called irregular is that they can have almost any infinitive ending, including those that look regular. At, eat, at, st, out. They're usually short, very common verbs, and quite often their stem changes when you conjugate them. Psát, to write. And in this case, we have to change the stem. Já píšu, ty píšeš, on, ona to píše. My píšeme, vy píšete, oni, oni, ona píšou. Other verbs in the fourth group are, for example, jít, to go on foot. In this case, we again need to adjust the stem. Já jdu, ty jdeš, on, ona to jde, and so on. Pít, to drink. Here we have to only shorten the vowel in the stem. Já piju, ty piješ, on, ona to pije, and so on. Hrát, to play, plavat, to swim. So those are the four groups that bring some order into the system. However, there are always exceptions that break the order just to keep us entertained. For example, a very common verb, meet, to have. It looks like it should belong to the third group, but in reality, it follows the pattern of the first group. Já mám, ty máš, on, ona to má. My máme, vy máte, oni, oni, ona mají. Another nice example of an exception to the rule is jíst, to eat. The st ending would suggest that it belongs in the fourth irregular group, but the pattern that it follows is actually that of the third group. Já jím, ty jíš, on, ona to jí. My jíme, vy jíte, oni, oni, ona jí. As I said before, there are always going to be some exceptions, and we simply have to know that they exist and learn them. But now, let us practice what we've learned today. This is a good moment to check out the description below and click the link to the blog post. You'll find all the materials we used in today's video there to help you study and also to help you ace the upcoming test. If you're ready, I'll give you a sentence with an infinitive of the verb. Your task is to put the verb into the correct form based on the person or subject in the sentence. I'll give you a moment to say or write it, and then I'll show and say the correct answer so you can check yourself. If the time is too short for you, just stop the video for a moment. There are 15 sentences in the test. Let's get down to it. Já poslouchám rádio. My pracujeme v kanceláři. On má nové auto. Snídají. Mluvíš anglicky? Mluvíte anglicky? Víš to? Jdeme do parku. Petr hraje na kytaru. Oni cestujou. Or more formal, oni cestují. To neplave. Jíš sladké? Já nejím sladké. Má Markéta čas? Dělám domácí úkol. Alright, I'm sure you did a great job and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit like and subscribe, take a look around our channel and visit our website at langsources.com. Don't forget to tune in next time. See you in the next video.